Right, well here we are, Belfast Lifting Camp 2024. We've got a small selection of legends from the WeHackHealth community who've travelled over to join us and basically set fire to things so far. So what we're going to do is have a chat and we'll start the conversation, we'll see where it goes, but for now the conversation will be around basically what's changed since this time last year when you guys came out here, other than the weather. Well, yeah, we've been blessed with some fairly good weather this time, but what has changed, not just in your lifting or your health, but in your life? It's like, how have things changed for the better, for the worse? What's been challenges you've overcome? Just what's going on with you since then? So unfortunately, because you chose to sit next to me, you're going to be picked on first. Okay. You have been selected by choosing, you chose the wrong seat.
I don't know, or the right one.
So the question to start with is, since this time last year, what's changed for you?
All right, well, I think the first thing that's changed is I'm actually here. I wasn't at the last event. I wasn't part of the group at all. I was kind of watching from afar. I was in the Discord, participating as much as I could. Of course, I knew about the group. I was like one of the early members in the Discord. But what I really liked is just seeing what happens at these events and what people are doing. So I was working with a different coach, and September was like right around when I needed to either decide if I'm going to continue with him or change. And I was like, I got to go talk to Ben. Got to see if I can get in on what everyone else is in on. And definitely, even though I came from a coach, I came from a program and a structure, this was everything I thought it was and more. This community right here and everyone and everything that we do is just night and day different than a lot of the other programs out there. So that for me has been the biggest change. I was telling Dylan earlier that this community, like, I've been going through a lot of personal stuff and challenges recently, and with everyone just doing what they're doing, it's easy to just get that inspiration, get that motivation to just get back at it. Coming here, that's what it's doing for me. It's like, all right, I got to reset, got to hit the gym hard, got to hear and see what everyone else is doing, and then just reset and get back and continue. So yeah, joining this group has been the biggest thing and biggest change for the best, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to open with that. I figured I'd see what you guys say first, but I mean, obviously, as the guest of honor, I think that's the correct title I have. Yeah. I mean, I see you guys from the outside in, right? Like through Ben, I hear about it on a literal daily basis, probably an hour by hour update on what's going on with you lot, right? I'm not joking. But like, it's the first time I've ever come and been part of it. And it's just great to see guys, like, you know, how connected and together you guys are, because I guess for a large part of you didn't have a bloody clue who each other were before WeHackHealth, right? Right, so like just folk from the internet around a fire in another fucking continent. Pretty cool, right? Like,
it is.
I think careful to just take a minute, and especially when you're sat around a fire, zoom out and have a minute for that, because I think I know when I go to these events, be it in Ben's capacity or in your capacity, it's easy to get kind of swept up in it all, and you're just kind of dinner and lifting and moving before, like, you know, back and forth between different things. And then maybe you're on the flight on the way home and you're like, oh fuck, I never really took a minute to zoom out, which is, I guess, what we're here to do tonight. So where's the other mic? Who's got the other mic just now? Randy. Okay, fine, let's do it. Randy, right. Give us, for you, let's go with the same kind of thing. Like, so this time last year, here in the piss and rain,
right here at a fire that wouldn't start.
So full circle to tonight.
It's actually really great to not only see our journey, but Ben's journey.
For sure.
We were in last year, one of the gyms that Ben originally started training at. Where are we this year? Ben's gym. I mean, that's pretty epic. And it is, I'll say, the greatest gym I've been in. So for us, I think Rashid said it, it's the community. That's what keeps us coming back. Some of the greatest people I know are here that I would have never met had we not gotten together through WeHackHealth. for me, the ups and downs of life, I know I can go to Discord or call somebody or text somebody, and this is just an extension of my family the way I look at it.
It certainly feels that way coming into it. You know, as someone that's complete outside, as of yesterday, right?
Yeah, no,
That's
and
definitely how I pick it up.
it's great to see you. Last year we saw Helmy. This year we see you. It's again an extension of what Ben's life is, because it's such a part of our life, and we hear about it. So it's good to see all the things come together.
Sweet. I mean, I think like you say with Ben, like I think you guys, I know you already do, but I think you can take a lot from him in just violent implementation of a fairly sketchy plan. I think that's it, right? I think that's the name of the podcast.
Yeah, there we
I think
go.
it's violent implementation of a fairly sketchy plan. Like he doesn't ever have it figured out. There was never a plan. There was just like the gym was the plan, that was it. And then was absolutely ruthless with every step of the way. So I think like you guys can take a lot from that for lifting or for life or whatever. Is I think especially, at least from my observation and understanding of what you guys do day to day, from understanding from Ben, it's easy to get trapped in the kind of analytical mode, try and figure it all out. But when it comes to like Ben, we wouldn't have a bloody gym just now if we had tried to figure it all out. And I think this is where, even with lifting, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, I think we have this tendency to like extrapolate and try and solve problems that are not even tomorrow problems, like 3-week problems. Let's just deal with today's session. So I think you guys should be, if you're not already aware of it, and I know you all are, but incredibly grateful to have him as your coach and the leader of whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah.
A cult.
Cult adjacent. We
I like it.
it's not a cult.
Next year.
Thomas, I'd love to hear from you. You can't nominate a speaker for you guys.
Yeah, that leaves me out.
Tell me, what's changed? Like, what's going on?
Shit. A year ago, we had, I don't know, last year was more of a retreat, more mindset focused and stuff. And that had like completely broken me. It was theme around like, who are you? And I went back on the plane and I'm like, I don't know who I am. Who am I? And then it was a journey of really trying to figure that out. In that, I've talking to Ben and wanting to take on more of a personal training role and kind of dive into it a little bit more. I really enjoy it, fall in love with it, and he's throwing me into the deep end a few times now, where he's actually kind of making me into a trainer and really just showing me the other side of it. And been having a ton of fun with that, and along with that, just growing and getting stronger. So it's been, I don't know.
Well, we'll find
just
out
all
tomorrow,
around.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been pretty wild, man. It's a wild ride.
It is a wild ride.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know.
I love it. What's changed for you? Like, why is life better as a downstream consequence of being a part of this community?
Yeah, so I was telling Dill earlier, I'm a Army veteran, and one of the things that I loved about the military was just the brotherhood, the camaraderie with sisters too, brother and sisters, and I still talk to some of the people that I served with, and when I got out, I was just kind of missing that feeling, like the people around you that, are like Randy said, like your second family. And I came in right about when Belfast was happening, so I didn't really know, like heard stories afterwards and stuff like that. So my first event was actually Phoenix. And it was huge, right? There was like 50 freaking people. And so I was like just kind of caught in the ocean of people. And I just remember like Adam coming up to me and just like checking on me because I was like deer in headlights overwhelmed, and it just kind of clicked for me, like, this is my people, like this is my tribe. So ever since then, it's just been, like what was said before, like you can, if you're having one of those shit days, you just check in, and if it's somebody doing something, or even if you need the support, you know, just saying what's going on in your life, and just the overwhelming response of warmth and helpfulness from everybody. I mean, it can be something little or something big, you know, like family member dying, or hey, I got this promotion or whatever, and it's like everybody is kind of there for you. And I think having that camaraderie again has motivated me to want to do better and set an example for, you know, those around me in my personal life, and also not to let any of you down, right? Because
For sure.
I feel like we're like propping each other up and motivating each other. So it's been a big mindset change for me, I think.
Good, mate. Love it. I mean, for me, it's like the family thing's evident to see, but I think the one thing, like, even just reflecting on it, like, whenever I get my guys together in a similar capacity, they don't have to travel that far, right? We're all in the UK, so it's easy enough, like, largely here. But for you guys, like, that's a fucking long way from home, right? Like, we're not next door. Like, this is a long way. It's pretty cool that you guys have made the effort. So, I mean, thank you, at least for me, for all of you, for coming over.
It's a two-way street with that too. I mean, Ben spent what seems like half his time in the U.S. With the U.S. events, and you know, talking about the family part. I didn't realize my family was. Yeah,
I know where this is going.
My mom had a surprise 50th birthday party for me, and I was actually struggling with turning 50.
Yeah.
I was down this rabbit hole of what is joy. And all of a sudden I show up at my house and there's people there, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And some people I hadn't seen in years, some people I see every day, and there's like 50 people there. And then around the corner comes Ben from Ireland, Andreas from Germany, Justin from South Carolina, and Mike Todd from Boston. And I'm like, wait, people care about me for me. This isn't about my work. This isn't about what I do. This isn't about what I've done for people. This is about me. And it brought me up and took me right back down. It was a couple of weeks of, yeah, I am a good person. I do deserve this. And oh, wow, this is joy. It was here all the time. And so we're traveling here, but it's a two-way street. He puts on the miles for us.
Randy, that was a flying visit as well. I think he was in the US for like 48 hours or something like that. I remember him booking those flights.
Yes,
Your jet lag is going to be
incredible.
something chronic. That's pretty cool, though.
It was.
I think, like, even like, I know you're saying, like, starting to become a coach and looking at that, like, there's an epic role model in that. Like, the effort that he will put in to support you guys. Maybe he was stoked to come and surprise you. Like, he was excited, so excited.
It was one of the greatest joys I had this year. And we had seen each other 2 weeks before, and we saw each other 2 weeks later. And he's that guy, and he'll do anything for you. If you're there for him, he's going to be there for you.
Yeah, I think that's a great role model to have, and someone that, like, you should definitely look to emulate that.
Definitely.
Amongst the other skills, like, you know, to tie it back to the gym again, like, the imperfect action is his middle name, right? Like, that's what he does. He doesn't pretend to be perfect. He just I said this week, I can't remember who I was speaking to. I was speaking to someone about Ben, and I remember who. Sean, you guys know Sean, 555. And I just have never met someone with a capacity for, I don't even know what it's for, just the capacity, full stop. Like, the shit that he has going on, the plates he's spinning. Beyond Ben coming out and surprising you for your birthday, how would you describe the biggest impact being part of WeHackHealth?
Facing anxieties and fears. I hate heights. Jen, Thomas, Kara and I are sitting with Jason in Phoenix having lunch after the gym. And I'm like, you know, there's a place you could skydive right down the road. We booked it at the table and we went the next day.
Do it anyway.
You do it anyway. watch was going off. My heart rate was over 100 just sitting there in the car. But we got in and we jumped out.
And you didn't die.
We didn't die.
Great success.
And yes.
Yeah, all things considered, a pretty good
Yes.
skydive.
Fingers were crossed for a little while, as well as some other things. But we have an experience. We have lots of experiences, but we faced something together. And that brings bonds. And Ben brought those people together.
I think there's a lot in that. I think Ben and I chat regularly about getting like you guys or my guys together and the importance of that, because like, okay, throwing yourself out of a plane is one thing, but I mean, we're not doing that tonight. Well, surprise. Plot twist. We're doing it in the dark, Randy.
Okay.
But I do think that the more you guys, like, I would implore you all, every single time you get the opportunity to do a lifting camp or whatever it is that we're putting together. I know a lot of the time there's family commitments and there's always other shit that's going to get in the way from you guys coming to stuff like this. But I would honestly encourage you so strongly to do your best to move other things as out of the way as you possibly can to be in these environments, because if I give you an analogy from my world with my clients, the guys and girls who turn up to these and like commit and play in full, they're the ones that end up with far greater the connections in amongst the group. And as a result of that, it's not Ben, it's not you, it's greater than the sum of all its parts effectively, and you will end up with friendships and support networks far greater than. I'm sure there are people in the community that kind of sit on the fringe and don't come to stuff like this. So I mean, fingers crossed one of them's listening and decides that, no, fuck it, next time one of these comes up, I'm gonna go all in. Because it's weird, right? Like the first time you come along to something, it's like, oh man, like I don't know what this is gonna be like. This could be shit. What if I'm stuck with these weirdos? And like that's exactly what it is. But I mean, it's in the best possible way, right?
Definitely. There's only one person that's been to all of them, other than Ben.
Who's that?
Tyler.
Yes, Tyler. That was actually going to be my next question, is like, who was here last year? But Tyler, right, give us the kind of takeaway from, let's start with like last year to this year. What's changed for you?
What's changed for me since last year? I'd say not much in the health-wise, but I think Ben has helped me from the business side. So starting January, I started looking into starting my own business. And so still on that track. At first we were talking, might have been over a year ago, I don't know, but he was like, just start with a t-shirt, like you can just make an online t-shirt company. And I was like, okay. So I played around with the idea, and I started creating some stuff, and then eventually must find out, but right now I'm working with my cousin that we're creating merch, so it's shirts, hats, stuff like that. So, and just getting ideas from Ben and going with it. So that's been the biggest thing in the past year. Not really in the health side. I mean, health still moving forward, but I think mindset and business is where Ben's actually been able to help me in the last year.
What's next for business?
Grow bigger, get more customers. So hopefully we can take over Ben's merch shop.
Ben, if you're listening, you have to give him the contract now. And the sponsor of today's podcast is.
Yep. Yeah, we actually have some concepts now, and I brought him some stuff. I think the hat he was wearing today was the hat that we, one of the ones we created for him. But just starting small and then eventually growing big, kind of like what Ben's been
100%.
Yeah.
This is it, and I think that's what I've been trying to get across, and when I've been speaking, is just that you don't need to have it all figured out, right? I think that's what he preaches. So you don't need it all figured out. You just need to know what tomorrow looks like, and just violently attack tomorrow, and then the same again the next day. And that's all I see Ben doing. I mean, I don't see him sleep ever, but like maybe there's something in that. But I mean, you'll end up looking as bad as him, so be careful with that.
Well, actually, to your point, so in the past year, my mindset's changed in the fact that
Nice.
when I get up in the morning, so I get up early to work out, so it's it's done for the day. But lately it's just been a struggle, and so it's instead of just rolling over, I'm just like, what would Ben say? And just like do it anyway. So like I roll out of bed and go to the gym. But even in like difficult times, I'm just like, how would Ben approach this? Like I find myself just like saying to myself, what would Ben do in this situation? So it's just another way that like Ben's impacted me. It's not the health, not the eating or the fitness, but just mentally as well.
For sure, I respect that massively. It's one of the things that we've been speaking to my community about recently is when you're breaking down your goals, so be it business, be it mindset, be it health. I mean, they're all, I suppose, exclusive to one another. But rather than looking at like the things that you need to do, so more customers or whatever else, the kind of like tangible metrics, it's like who do you need to become is probably a more powerful question to answer. So that's where your what would Ben do thing comes into play. So it's like, people of faith, Christians, whatever it may well be, whichever chosen religion they have, for Christianity, what would Jesus do? And all of a sudden now the decision-making process is taken out of your hands. It's like, well, it's an easy answer. He would do this, so therefore you behave like that. And if you have someone like Ben who can be your respective Jesus in this case.
It's feeling pretty cold this year.
So, I mean, it is a fucking cult. Let's just be straight, right? It's 100% a fucking cult. When you've got that person in that position where you can model, I do think that's such an important way to forge forward is having someone that, like you say, when it's the morning, you can't be arsed getting out of bed. It gets darker in the winter, and especially if you're training early, right? It's cold, It's dark, and this bed is neither of those two things. I'm going to fucking stay here and fucking whatever else. I think it does help to have like a full-size cardboard cutout of Ben in bed next to you, but I don't know if that's just me. I feel like I might have given myself away there.
I mean, we are sharing a room this time, so.
All right. I like
Phil
it.
gets in the middle.
Good, solid.
A sandwich.
I'm going to leave that one there. If you've been to every event?
I have, yes. Yeah.
Okay, highlight event so far. Standout event.
So I'd say my favorite, I think we were talking about this today.
Yep.
My favorite event, if I had to choose out of all of them, was probably Colorado. Probably because it was the first big event, as well as it might have just been the environment and setting as well. And it was the first time I got to meet Jen and Thomas, and like it just felt like it really felt like community-wise, like that's where it felt okay. This is growing into something, and then definitely with Phoenix when that came around, that was mental, as they say.
It sounds like they all are though, right? This is it.
Yeah.
There's some.
Phoenix was a special
Some
kind
hit
of
different.
crazy.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Okay, yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Phoenix was definitely different. I don't know if Ben plans on having one big event a year or what his next plans are, but it's just crazy to go from the first event where we had, I think, 5 of us to then go to like Phoenix where you had 50. And then here we have, I think, about 20. So it's really interesting to go from large to intimate back to large again. So
No, I mean, there's so much in that. It's like Thomas just added, it's like 20 in another country, right? I think that's such important context, and that's the point I was trying to get ahead. It's like to have the pool to bring 20 people. No one's from the United Kingdom. Well, I am. Sorry to disappoint. It feels fast, but realistically, it is also slow.
yeah.
Where it's just each event. And one thing I would say is that I've never once heard Ben, and I know I have an internal dialogue that says whenever we have an event, like, oh, what if there's not that many people there? Like, what if not many people turn up? I've never once heard him worry about the amount of, even if 3 of you showed up, he doesn't, it's not that he doesn't care that the rest of you aren't there. He will give you everything that you need from that event.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's great to see. You said something there though, Colorado.
Yeah.
There was something about the environment of it. Like, what was different in Colorado?
I think there's the setting, like the way it was a large Airbnb. It was on 40 acres. We had a lot of time. Like, I think that was the first one where we spent a lot of time at the Airbnb,
Sure.
and it allowed us to get to know each other a lot more. Like, some of us we created a game. Like we had a frisbee and a football, and we created a game where you throw the frisbee or throw the football, and then you try and get as close as you can to the football with the frisbee. Like, and then we were just yeah, it was awesome. Like just talking around, just getting to know each other. Yeah.
Was that an exclusively male camp?
No.
It sounded like that sounds like the ultimate boys game right there. Right? Like, give men a ball and they'll play for hours on end unattended.
There was only men playing the game. I will say that.
There we go. Told you, right? I knew it.
But Jen was there, and I think there was
Chris.
We had the overflow.
Evans, yeah, there was like 8 of us at a different Airbnb, but we really only slept there. We all hung out
Up in the ranch.
Literally.
Yeah,
it was pretty dope.
With all the events, what you just said there is that potentially in Colorado, what I took from what you said is that there was downtime baked into the fabric of the event, which I think you're highlighting as a key element of what you enjoy about the events, right?
Yep, just getting to know each other, and being able to network, so figuring out what each other's goals are, or maybe what their line of work is. I know we all have for the most part, a similar line of work, but even within cybersecurity or IT, there's niches, and like being able to find folks that are in those same niches and then also are looking to get into fitness and health is kind of something special, I think. So just being able to be in a house or on a property where we can all just kind of roam and like talk to each other, and just be comfortable with that is actually, I think.
He picks cool fucking houses too.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. Yeah. He knows how to spend money on Airbnb, for sure, right? He knows, there's one thing he's good at.
I mean, except for Pittsburgh.
Unmentionable.
No, but I think that's cool, and I think like the reason I've hit home on this point is I'm not sure, other than the odd one-to-one with Ben, he'll receive the feedback like that. It never finds its way back to the guy that's actually running it. Maybe Randy says something in passing, but he doesn't think anything more of it because it was buried in a conversation, whereas if he listens to this and it's like, oh shit, that downtime's really important to these guys. I know it's important to him as well, but sometimes it's nice to have some affirmation that the decisions that you're making are going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to potentially tomorrow having one of Trisha's famous parties, and I know there's a soccer goal and a soccer ball somewhere over here, just being able to kick the ball around with folks.
I haven't managed to find the goal with the ball yet, but I've been trying multiple hours. All right, well, who else was here in Belfast last year? Which one of you came? Who came? Let's do it.
Sergey.
I was thinking about it today in the gym. I was thinking about it last week. The year flew by, but I didn't really realize how much has changed, and I was just thinking about it, and really a lot has changed. I had a really stressful year, work-wise and health-wise. Last year, I was super scared here because of my upcoming surgery. I had to get like the screws removed from my back, and this year they're gone, and I don't even think about it anymore.
Love that.
I was super scared to have the surgery because, like, overthinking what could go wrong, and
for sure.
Now I'm here, and I'm reaching new deadlift maxes, so I'm good. And it made me think about how I deal with stress. And I had a few very stressful weeks at work, and my whole mindset shifted since, like compared to my earlier life. In my earlier life, I would have just, quit all the stuff, return back to bad eating habits, quit the gym, not look out for myself. But I kept going this time, and that kind of was really what was helped me through it. And I was like, the mentality of like, okay, I'm just gonna take this one day at a time. In the evening I thought like, yeah, I'm just gonna take tomorrow one day at a time. I'm gonna go to the gym, no matter what, just go through it. And it gives you so much more capacity to deal with all the shit that life throws at you. That's was kind of a big mindset change for me, like how I handle stress. And yeah, health-wise, all is good.
I
And
respect it, man.
I don't have to be scared anymore.
Yeah, I love that.
And like 3 weeks ago, I told Ben I need to reduce my gym sessions from 4 a week to 3, because the doctor allowed me to do like rock climbing and bouldering again. So I was like, yeah, I need my Monday back from the gym. Sorry. But I have some friends I meet every Monday for go bouldering, and I can do that again. So I'm super happy. Life has gotten better.
Respect it.
Thank you.
Here's a question then. Without Ben and this cult, what would be different if you hadn't joined?
I would probably be not as fit, not as good of a mindset, not be at the place in my career where I am now. Yes, I've been with Ben for 2 years now, and so much has changed in the 2 years. I got a new and better job. I had a skiing accident, overcame it. All is good now. Well, not all. There's still some damage left in my back, but I can live with that. And yeah, I don't think all of that would have been possible to be like handled that good and overcome it without it.
Awesome.
It was actually, my skiing accident was right when I started with Ben. It was between the discovery call and me telling him, yes, I'm in. I was in the hospital thinking like, should I really do it? Should I really, join? Because I know I'm gonna be out. I had to have surgery and it's gonna be a rough time. But I did it anyway, and that was the best decision I could have made at that
Respect,
point.
man. What's your favorite thing about the WeHackHealth community / cult?
My favorite thing, well, I think it's right there in what you just said, the community. Like that's gold for me. I feel like Randy was saying, we all support each other. It's funny because I'm not in cybersecurity.
Imposter?
Yeah, right. So I would say, like, out of everyone, I probably have the least in common with everyone. Yet they all feel like family. Like, I'm always so excited to come to these things. Even if we don't talk every day, just getting random, like sometimes Adam will text me and it puts a smile on my face. I'm like, that's my friend, that's my buddy, like, or Randy, or it's the entire like just everybody. Like, it just feels good to know that I have friends outside my immediate circle of friends at home.
I'm curious, and I suppose it's the question's for everyone, but you have the mic just now, so we'll play the game. Is beyond these events, beyond even the text, it might be hard to put your finger on, but what has Ben done? What has he built? Like, how does the community impact your life beyond like the events? Because I think it's easy when you think community. I know I do. You get not lazy with it, but I think about community, and if you ask me about how do we do community with the Optimise coach, it would just be the events. But if you take if you took the events away, here's the question: how does the community play out? Like, what other elements are there to it that bonds you guys? Like, why? How else is the community there? Because the events are great, but I mean, how often do they happen? Like, you're gonna have a few months off just now. I promise you that. If Ben's told me one thing, is that he's taking a few months off. You've got a hiatus for a few months, guys. Sorry to break that to you.
Until he doesn't.
Yeah. Do it anyway.
I think the Discord page is like,
nice.
I mean, you start out with that anyway. Like, I think I was in the group 2 months before going to the first event. So I think you form a lot of friendships in there. Like everyone's been saying, you can go in there with any of your issues or even your highs, and there's people there that will celebrate with you, or will share your struggle, and even if they don't have anything that they can say, yeah, I've been through this, here's how I can help you, they can just sit in that suck with you for a little bit, and you form those friendships. And then when you get to see them in person, you're like, fuck yeah. So
I think you touched on something good there, though. I think you said sit in the suck. Ben, I was having a right moan at Ben once. I can't remember what I was complaining about, but something. And we actually went to a seminar once together, and it was Stephen Bartlett that does Diary of a CEO and Simon Sinek. They had they put on they both spoke. It was good. But one of the things was about having a true friend, and people in your true community are the people that will sit in the mud, is how they worded it. Sit in the mud with you. And I think that is evident to see just sitting around the fire with you guys. I think what I'm trying to say is that it's easy to be a community when everything's sunshine and rainbows. When you're all having a good time, and the weather's been fucking brilliant. Let's be honest, we nailed it this time round. Then it's great. It's easy to have a good time when it's sunny and everyone's winning, but it's a lot harder, not just in the community aspect, but I suppose, and it translates to your guys' training. It's easy to turn up to the gym when it's not cold in the morning, and it's easy to turn up to the gym when you're hitting PBs, and it's easy to turn up to the gym when it's the program that you've got at the moment is something that's your particular favorite. But I think the difference is, and I think it ties back to Ben again, is the difference between the people that will endure over the long haul and ultimately see the best results and the people that don't is their ability to continue doing the do, even in light of the fact that maybe things aren't optimal. And so I think being able to sit in the mud with your community is massive. And if you've got those people around you that you can call on when it's fuck this.
Agreed, for sure.
Big Tom's got something.
It's because it's not just about sitting in the mud, so to speak, but it's also nice going down to Atlanta and somebody lives in Atlanta, you're like, hey, let's hook up.
I'm in town.
Go to the gym. What's up? Or setting up events elsewhere, building that community outside of just these events even, and just being able to visit friends. It's just awesome. Or visiting for birthdays and whatever else. It's just growing outside of that, and I think Ben's done well to give us ownership of WeHackHealth as well. And so it's not just Ben's WeHackHealth, it's ours as a community. And I think that's a key thing with us is this is about us, and it's our community. I
would encourage you all to actually tell Ben that. I know some of you have. I know some of you probably haven't, because I know when there's been impromptu meets you've suggested there. When he finds out about it, the first thing that happens is he messages me. He's like, "You'll never fucking guess." I'm like, what? They're doing it by themselves. It's fucking what? They're doing it. It's really happening. It's proud dad moment when they right. It's oh my god. It's when they ride a bike or something like that, right? It's oh my god, it's happening. He genuinely gets really excited about that. I know that gives him a lot of pleasure when he knows that you guys are like relative strangers before this, join this, and then as a result of this, then you say, travel interstate and meet someone, or there's a little mini lifting camp that happens and it just pops out the ground. He's this is fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah, or Tyler with the business and starting the WeHackHealth merch store and stuff like that, and taking ownership from that, or personal training for myself. I know there's a couple others in the group that have also expressed interest or have gone down the training path, and just the care and love and the love of the sport, but also seeing people grow, and as a community the joy that we see in sharing each other's successes, and just bringing each other up, and being there for each other. And Marcus was saying, it's shit, I don't want to do this, but I'm not going to let my community down, our community down, so I'm going to show up for you, and when I need it, you'll show up for me, kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
For sure, I totally agree. Yeah. I think it's amazing that you've managed to disguise a drinking community as a lifting community.
To be fair, that's only been recent.
Allegedly.
Ever since Phoenix.
No, I would definitely say we are not a drinking community, but we will partake in beverages. We do not have fun. Yeah, we do not.
We can masquerade as a drinking community once in a while.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
I'm curious about the first timers
Oh, go ahead.
that is like their first event.
You knew what he was
He's been
doing.
trying to set me up for 20 minutes.
It was intentional.
It's been awesome. I knew once I got here, just from the Discord life, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
I've heard enough versions of this Fireside podcast to hear other first timers saying, hey, it's a welcoming community. So I felt safe going in, but yeah, it's been incredible. Yeah.
Key takeaway so far.
Don't leave water bottles.
Don't leave water bottles?
Phil's leaving water bottles everywhere.
Oh, okay. Key takeaways. 3-hour lifts are very tiring. My legs are like shaking right now. I don't know if you can feel the log wobbling.
It was me, but
No, it's the adductor
Just
machine.
convulsing after the workout.
Yeah. I knew I'd feel welcome, but I was surprised at how immediately chill it felt with everyone. You
Yeah.
guys were just like, oh, newbie, let's go, come play soccer with us. Like, I was playing games with the boys, so I'll partake in stupid games.
Yeah, good.
The other thing that was really, I mean, Ben kind of had to drag me on this trip. It's like, because I've been working with him for 2 years, and he's been trying to get me to come out, but I have like really bad food allergies. I have like chronic illness, and I was like, I'm really worried for my safety. And he was like, Belfast, small group, we're doing all the cooking, you know, everyone's going to be really all over looking out for you, and got folks buying me candy bars and Tom was checking ingredients at the restaurant for me. So like it's honestly, I feel safer here than I do with my family when I go home for the holidays. They're trying to give me beers and trying to feed me pasta, and you guys are like, this is a certified gluten-free candy bar. So it's been this is it's tough for me to partake in these sorts of activities usually. So I appreciate everyone. It's been awesome.
We're glad you came.
Yeah. Thank you for being a part of it. Like, we're all grateful to have you here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having the balls or female equivalent to answer that question. Sean, you're not getting away from the questions, so Sean's up
Pass
next.
it over.
Just send it over the fire. I mean, a lithium-ion battery will get the fire going if nothing else.
Yeah, it'll pop.
Sean.
Yeah.
First event. 3 key takeaways.
I think the first key takeaway for me is just, I grew up kind of a gym rat. I've always been in the gym since I was a kid. And so one of the things that I noticed about this group that I haven't ever seen, because historically I worked out with like-minded individuals with all the sports that I played with in high school. But the one thing that I noticed yesterday and today, and I'm sure I'll notice it again tomorrow, is, there's no judgment from anyone about what anybody else is doing in the gym, whether too light, too heavy. There is none of that, right? It's just everybody trying to better themselves, which is not something that, other than just the home gym, observing from afar of other people being at the gym, it's different when you're with a group of people, but everybody is working on something different, but they're all being supported by the group, which is, that's key observation number 1 for me. Number 2, it's the central focus on being better, but it's obviously it doesn't necessarily have to be, everybody's not physically trying to be better necessarily, or mental or spiritual or whatever, but we're all just trying to be better in different ways. And I think everybody can align to all of them differently, is something that I've noticed. And then third, right, I mean, I've been around since January, and I get the...
You look a lot older than that.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I get that a lot. It's the hair that isn't there anymore. But it's also just the support that I think Ben brings into the community, and that he's allowed this to foster to a point and encourage this type of behavior.
Sure.
Whereas in... I think other fitness clubs and groups that I've been a part in, again, it's everybody is that one like mind. For example, today you'd have a group full of reds, and they're not going to associate with the blues or the yellows or the greens, right? Those are your people. These are my people. I guess more aligned with the Sneetches, if you guys have ever seen that book by Dr. Seuss, the stars and the ones that don't. Everybody here mixes together, and I think Ben fosters that type of behavior, because he's not casting judgment on any of us. He tailors all of the things that we want to do based on what we want. And knowing that that's how Ben is accepting us, I think that fosters us accepting everybody else, no matter where they're at in life, because we're all just here to better ourselves, but in different ways.
For sure. I mean, he's a weird motherfucker, and I think he just encourages you all to be your own weird motherfucking selves, right? As simple as that. Like,
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
100%.
But I think he also encourages you are who you are, but who do you want to be too? He doesn't, like for me, I know that he doesn't want me to be complacent with who I am. You know, if I tell him I want to change, he's going to hold me accountable to that. And so I think that's another piece in that. He's not going to judge us for who we are, but he's also going to make dang sure that we become who we want to become. And that's why, we've asked him to come along and help.
Who do you want to become?
Still figuring that out. The first thing for me is just, the best provider I can be for my family.
Nice.
My wife and my kids is number one. And then after that, we'll let everything else take care of itself. But I think who do I want to be? I think that varies based on the type of day I'm having, But I want to be somebody that's trusted, somebody that's there for other people, and can provide support when needed, but also lead when needed as well. But every day we're figuring that out.
I mean, it varies based on what type of day you're having. What type of day are you having, Sean?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, today's great. I mean, like I said, you said it earlier, when I looked at the forecast for the week, I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
I was like, I don't know why everybody tells me that Ireland's rainy and wet all the time. It looks dry to me.
Well, looking forward, if you were to come back to this next year, what goals are in place, man? Like, just thinking ahead to the next year, like, what have we got in place in terms of goals just now?
Well, Adam's already made it clear, or not, Adam and Thomas have already made it clear that if I don't get 1,000 tomorrow, 1,000's on the table for next year. So that's number one. I mean, number two is really just to, for me physically, where I'm at in a year, really interested to see what that's going to look like, barring I don't have any accidents doing other sports that I enjoy. But I'm really looking forward to seeing where we're all at next year. But I would say my number one focus for next year is going to be where am I strength-wise.
Nice. I mean, it sounds like peer pressure is doing its magic for tomorrow.
Yep,
there.
It is.
It's happening tomorrow.
I might not
right?
sleep tonight, but yeah, it's happening. It's going
Thomas
down.
is standing over you.
It's going down.
1,000, motherfucker.
He might be whispering in my ear all night. We'll see.
Good. Just says 1,000 in blood on your wall when you wake up.
That's right. Well, he's got it's going to be written in his handprint because he's already got the blood to go with it. So.
Good. I like it. We've exhausted the people that were here last year, right?
No, I was here.
Oh, okay.
This was on purpose. We knew that was coming.
Yeah, good. I like it. That's worked really well. Okay. So let's go back to the original question, because that's the flavor of the podcast is, what's changed for you in the last 12 months?
Yeah, so the first year that I was with Ben, it was literally just health focus. It was getting into shape and so on. And this year it was actually pushing the boundaries of the strength, essentially like prepping for tomorrow. So most of the year was spent on that, but I think some of the biggest changes for me is focusing again on that mindset and the identity of who am I, and who do I want to be, and how do I achieve that essentially. So for me, what I want to do is I just want to be a great husband. I want to be a great father. And I want to be a great example to my kids for being healthy and things like that. And so doing these things, talking to my kids about, the food that we eat, and not just, telling them, but actually showing them and living it. Luckily, my kids are still very young, so they trust everything that you say, right? So it's good that I can get them into this healthy mindset from a young age, right? And that's really been the important change for me this year.
I mean, I think that's the who you want to become, right? It's the father figure.
Yeah.
Nice. I respect it. From this year's event, even one key takeaway, what have you taken away from this year's event so far? I mean, you'll be taking away 1,000 tomorrow, but like beyond that,
No, yeah, next year will be the 1,000.
No. I just said tomorrow will be 1,000. I don't know if you heard me. Tomorrow, but
that's a far stretch.
On the another bedroom for blood on the wall. But beyond tomorrow's numbers, key takeaway from the event so far.
I think again, it's just we've said it before, but it's the community. It's
nice to hear.
You know, online is one thing. You get quite a lot of support, a lot of celebration with you in all of your wins, right? So every time somebody makes major progress in whatever area, whether that's a lift or, like we said, a promotion or some other personal goal that they manage to achieve, the people are there for you, and you know, while it is still personal, it is online, and this feels so much different. Actually, sitting with the people that you get to know online and having a one-on-one, face-to-face conversation in real life is really different, and it just deepens that connection that you have with the people.
I agree. As one of my key observations of today, as an outsider, is I mean, it's no surprise, like, everyone's stuck on their phones, the laptops, you know, you name it. That's how your guys' community is founded. Like, it's digital, right? Like, it's how you came to be. So, like, we can't shit on it to the nth degree, but at the same time, I've noticed a distinct lack of cell phones in hands whilst I've been with you. Like, your ability, all of you, like, genuinely well done. Your ability to remain present in the room, or not, as the case may be, has been commendable, because I think it's super easy these days to just, you know, come along and then you're still glued to your fucking phone, and there's work, and there's, like, even just scrolling bullshit whilst you're with people. So it's been great to see, like, a real lack of people connected to things. And actually, like, I mean, I've had conversations with a lot of you one-on-one or in a small group, and I think that's one thing that you guys should be incredibly proud of yourselves for, because I think it's even harder now than it ever has been to do that.
The Wi-Fi is a bit shit, but
yeah. Well, so let's trick is good Airbnb and purposely sabotage the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi good? It's terrible. All right, great. We'll book that.
No, I think that's it. Is I was trying to deal with work messages earlier on, and then, like, my wife was absolutely slamming my inbox with questions about work, and I was like, I'm fucking struggling to be present if you keep asking all these questions. Just close the laptop. I'll deal with this later on. And, like, I think, like, I was aware of being the black sheep in that scenario. It was you guys that made me aware, where I was, like, trying to get that done. I was like, this can fucking wait.
Yeah.
So, I mean, respect to all of you for that, because it takes a lot. Phil, you happen to be next to hand, whilst we milk what is left of the embers of this fire. What do you feel like the biggest impact Ben and the wider community have had on your life in the time in WeHackHealth?
That's heavy.
Yeah. Best for last, bro.
I think, well, it's fortunate because Dylan asked me that same question earlier today.
Warm up.
No, I think the biggest thing was, prior to Ben, it was maybe approaching life more passively. Like, okay, I have a job, I have these obligations, but as long as I do them, things will stay the same. Mm-hmm. But then after being with Ben, it's a little bit more active or proactive, where
do hard things.
Yeah, do hard things just because. But to see the trajectory of life kind of change a little bit, right? Rather than just doing the bare minimum to keep things the same, you do a little bit more each day, and you start to kind of look back and you're like, holy shit, things are a little bit different now. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think, like, when you start doing more than the bare minimum, stretching yourself a bit, the risk is you then have the kind of crabs in a bucket thing, right? Where, like, people around you start seeing you grow, and then they shit on that. Like, even if it's, like, it doesn't have to be, like, vocal and, like, particularly out there, but, like, their behaviors, and then the people maybe not in, like, definitely not here, but, like, people in other communities that you're parts of then start to look at you growing in certain areas of your life. Even if it's not particularly outward. I mean, I know it's happened to me, where people would rather shit on the growth that you're going after, because it brings to light their lack of going after anything. So I think, like, you're absolutely right. I'm a big believer myself, and I know Ben is like, life is a you get out what you put in kind of game. And so I can respect for putting more in, buddy, because I think the easy thing to do is let life take you for a ride, because like, you know, things aren't bad where they are, and that's the point. It's like you can exist there, but if existing is the goal, sure, but you wouldn't be here if it was, right? Stretch yourself a bit, put yourself in some difficult situations, and see what comes out the other side. Respect. Okay.
Zach.
Two more. Then we've done the whole circle at that point. We've got two more.
Zach's gone.
Everyone else, yeah.
And Alex has arrived.
I'm here now.
Okay,
I should get a name tag. This is hard.
Hi, my name is Badges for everyone. Okay. First event, no.
No.
How many events under your belt?
I joined the first event in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Yeah. That was fun. I slept on the couch the whole time.
Let's go there. Like, okay. Talk to me.
Yeah, a few of the people that kind of resonated, and like just I noticed the biggest thing was to see like-minded folks. I was like, oh, for sure. This was very interesting to see up front and personal, and you're like being able to like find people that I never thought there would be any similarities in like certain aspects like mindfulness or how they approach things, and like what's their goals or what's their problems and things like that, and how they are perceiving the tools that we're given for this whole community. And it's like nice to kind of run into that just up close and kind of resonate with those people really closely and feel like someone's there to like just give you like that one word of, you didn't like, even if it's like a cliche thing, but like it makes sense, like all of a sudden like things just clicked just hearing it from someone else. I don't know what it was, but it helped a lot. Yeah, for sure.
What one thing are you taking home with you from Belfast this time?
Here, a lot of
Club.
Yeah.
Everyone's at it. We're all doing it.
Nightmares.
New name.
the night of the 19th. Yeah, that's good. I got to be grouped in this year with people I haven't been next to, which was nice before. It's smaller, which is cool, so I can like actually go around everyone. Like, like in Arizona, like they said, it was pretty big, so you didn't get to kind of like give that time that you wanted to with everyone. Here I feel like I can do that pretty easily, and it's like really nice to have that, and it's just up to me to be like, what do I want to say now, and see what they have to offer up, kind of thing, because I know they'll always say something to support you, kind of thing. So
I totally agree. I think like for us, like the big events are, whilst they're fun, I actually prefer the smaller ones if I had to pick. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like children. Everyone's got a favorite, even if they tell you. You guys already know. In terms of goals, what's next just now?
This is my last like time being with the crew, unfortunately. So it's kind of hard to make I haven't talked to Ben about it yet, but sorry, Ben, we're gonna have to talk.
Ben, bad news. But I mean, the goals don't stop.
But the goals won't stop. It's just like, I know I wanted to keep going, and maybe I can just jump on the bandwagon when I'm ready again, and feel like nothing changed, hopefully, and just go right to it. And this was like my way of looking ahead, which I don't normally do, so this kind of gave me that future sight to be like, hey, like this is coming to a close. This is my week, like kind of anniversary of being on the whole WeHackHealth. And I was like, this is falling in line. I should probably take this opportunity to just see what happens here. And I got sick. Like, I've been touring Europe for like 37 days so far, just working my way to this thing. And I think the next step is reflect on this whole process. Somehow things just kind of exponentially grew since I started this whole group, like friends that I never thought I would have, people looking up to me, like to do, like I just reiterate things I learned from here to like a close friend of mine, and then they benefit greatly from it, and then like it benefits from my health just to solidify some of the things that we practice in like a mindful sense, and then just maintain that and like see what I can do to kind of join back up and kind of keep the health going, keep the workouts going, and just keep the routine, like see how I can manage everything, I guess. Yeah.
Does anyone else feel like we're about to get a Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not fucking leaving moment. I feel like I'm not fucking leaving. Good, man. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you.
We still have 2 days to convince him.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm done.
We've just spoken about peer pressure.
You're not taking him out of the ocean.
That's it.
Actually, I forgot about that.
Right, dude. Bring us home. What is, like, let's think about the last year, because that's been the theme. Let's do it. In the last year, what's been the big changes for you? What's happened in your life, buddy?
For me, last year at this time, I was just getting to about the 1 year mark with Ben. It was, the first year was just a massive year of transformation for me, kind of starting from ground zero. I mean, and getting into the gym, getting my diet and other parts of my life structured. For me, it was a good opportunity. Most of my other life was pretty stable, and I was able to really put a lot of time into it and really start and build those habits, and working with Ben to do that kind of iteratively, you know, starting with building routine, building up my diet, getting my steps, all just the basics. And then about last year at this time, I really wanted to get to Belfast, and I couldn't. And I was so sad. And I was in the Discord chat, and I had so much FOMO. I should have just left, but the second year has been kind of really flipped around in a lot of ways. So the habits have been there, and that's kind of turned into, you know, from something new for me and something that I had to build to really my stability in my life. You know, getting up every day early, you know, it's cold, but it's like alarm goes off, feet hit the floor, and out the door and get to the gym every day, you know, kind of thing. Structure around my meals, all this stuff. And then the rest of my life kind of turned a little bit into chaos with different stuff at work and family and different things going on and a lot of different events going on. And I now use, you know, WeHackHealth program as my stability, right? You know, it's calls on Monday, you know, check-ins on Thursday. Just the routine of it has become that stability in my life and kind of brings everything else together. You know, Mike talking about being a father figure. I mean, for me, that's been a big thing. I've got older kids. They're all in college now, and having that relationship at a different level of being a father figure to adult children and seeing that in them. You know, my youngest went off to college last year, and people talk about putting on the freshman 15. He did, but it was all muscle. You know, I mean, and that's the thing. You know, we're now chatting about what we're doing for workouts and what, you know, and how he's focused on his diet and, you know, protein targets and stuff. And it's like, that never would have happened 2 years ago, you know, and just having those conversations again with my adult children, it's just a rewarding experience as part of it. And then, you know, kind of talking about the relationships, you know, we were playing the stupid Frisbee game, you know, and stuff. It just, from the time, when we were waiting to get into the Airbnb. So, I mean, the welcoming factor, you know, for Colorado, this is my first event. I showed up at the airport and met basically two people I've never really met at the airport and get in a car with them. You know?
It's not a cult. And sure.
Kind of did the same thing on Tuesday a little bit, you know, and like I packed up on Monday. I'm like, well, I have an airline ticket, and I gave Ben some money for a place to stay, and that's about all I kind of planned for so far. So
yeah, I felt the same way.
You know, it's like kind of wing it when I get there, and it's just that trust factor, knowing that, you know, the people that are associating with Ben are such good people. You know, they're so caring about each other, respect each other, and always looking out for each other. And it's just everybody's looking, how can I help? How can I contribute? And that's been such a factor. And then, you know, the other thing, just the relationships. Remember Colorado, meeting Thomas and Jen. It was just seeing how you guys have really just grown into the community since then. You know, I remember because you guys were staying at that other Airbnb, so it was a little bit different, but now it's just seeing you guys so involved. I remember kind of picking on Jen once about, like, she would never come on camera during the meetings, and now she's always on camera, and Thomas is usually not there.
Thomas is hiding in the
other. But just and it's just that level of engagement that you guys have put in, and so many others have done that. It's, to me, that's what really makes the program. I mean, everything we do on Discord has a place. The meetings with Ben have a place, but then these type of events just kind of bring all that stuff together and kind of cement it all together. And that's what really makes it special for me.
That was a very solid answer to that question.
Yeah.
I'm glad we saved you till the end there, man. I feel like, I realize it's getting cold, but like to wrap, let's do this. We'll pass the mic round. You're only allowed to use one word to describe WeHackHealth. You're not allowed to use the word community, because the first person who's going to say, you're the first person to get the fucking mic is going to say community, and it's like everyone else like, fuck, that was my word. So it's no one's word. You can start.
For me, consistency.
Nice.
Development. Indoctrination.
Trust.
Accountability.
Friendship.
Transformative.
Badasses.
Discipline.
I'm gonna cheat. 2 words: hard work.
Gratitude.
Family.
Safe.
Nice. I mean, if Ben doesn't turn that into some sort of word art for the wall somewhere or something like that. Like, it looked fucking sick as a wordle, that, right? Like, there's some pretty cool words.
We got a new t-shirt on the way now.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, if I can be bold enough to add mine from a distance on your behalf, I think it would be belonging. Like, that's what I pick up on in all of you. Like, that's the one thing I like across all the conversations I've had with all of you, and I'm sure I'll have many more. Looking forward to having them. Is exactly that. Is that you found something that you can belong to, and I think like one thing that I delivered on literally like a month ago to our guys was, as I know a lot of your parents, when you see your kids, like achievement is baked into childhood, like everywhere you look, and belonging is baked into childhood everywhere you look. But the minute you pass your final exam of like whatever further education you did, beyond let's look at it as an adult. Some form of pay rise or like promotion, which happens every once in a fucking blue moon. You probably bought the house. You probably have the partner. There's cars on the driveway. Like, it's kind of like it can become a little bit stale, I think, without belonging to something else. And that's why, like, I think this is such an important thing. And so, like, well done on everyone on being a part of it. And I know you all bring your own special flavor to it. So even if that is feta en guac.
It's not too bad.
But I mean, if we're going to wrap up the podcast, I think we should probably mention tonight's sponsor, which is, of course, the merch store. Do you want to give us it down the mic?
Well, it's not live yet, so
come on, give us the URL. We need something.
We'll not give a URL to this community yet, yeah.
Give us your ad. Come on, this is your infomercial time. I'm giving you some airtime here.
All right, CroninCustom.com will be where anyone can set up a merch store. They just got to pay us.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. First sponsored episode. I love it.
Perfect.
Guys, thank you for playing the game. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for enduring this excuse for a fire at this stage. Thank you for the fire, mate.
It's finishing off.
Look at it. It's giving us a last little whirl here. That's good. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you all.
Appreciate it.